always funny to me when white liberals want to tell black people exactly what their experience is and what it's like for black people in the country now, not letting black people give them the answer on what their experience is. It's ridiculous because they don't know, but they regurgitate the points the college tell them, professors tell them, the media tells them. And it's just unfruitful, and they honestly look idiotic. Well, we have this man coming at Candace Owens for like 8 minutes straight, looking like a fool. Black people in the audience are like, what are you doing? And yet he is convinced that we are under a systemic oppression, there is white privilege, and yada yada, all the nonsense. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to RTM News to ensure to YouTube that you are enjoying our videos, and so they'll continually show up in your feed, and then in that way, they'll push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
Was there ever a point in history where white privilege did exist?
No. Yeah, I suppose when we lived in a country where if you were black, you were not allowed to go into certain places, right? I suppose you could say again, and I guess that wouldn't be white privilege. You would call that Nordic privilege in the progressive era when there were signs that said Irish need not apply. So that's a different, that is white on white, a lack of a privilege. Of course, there's examples in the history of the world where you would have been privileged if your skin was white, especially in this country and in other countries as well. But today, no, white privilege does not exist.
When did it end?
Over time, beginning with the civil rights era, it's not a particular incident or moment, but multi-generations, the country became significantly less racist. I would say after Reconstruction, after the Civil War, after, when we had desegregation, fought the Democrat institutional racism, we fought back against the KKK, when the Civil Rights Act was signed, when blacks were allowed to participate in Major League Baseball, the National Football League, the National Basketball Association, serve in elected office, all those things, contributed to the end of what used to be privilege in society, white privilege.
You said less racist. Is it still somewhat racist?
No, do you just have questions? I think.
You said you wanted a dialogue.
I think what's really dumb about this, what's really dumb is when did racism end in America? It didn't. White privilege is ridiculous. At the time, it was, like they're saying, there was a point where there was privilege in this country to be white as opposed to being black. That is a fact. I think no one's negating that. Everybody knows that to be the case. But he's trying to he wants to sit there and make everyone say that racism doesn't exist anymore. When was that point? Pinpoint the moment for when racism just ended. It's like it hasn't. But 90% of the country isn't racist. I mean, is that the exact statistic? Maybe it's 89. Maybe it's 85. Maybe it's 95. I don't know. But the point is, majority of the country is not racist and is indifferent towards you based off of your skin color. It's more of the content of your characters. Martin Luther King's dream. But you're trying to keep racism alive by pushing all this nonsense. But guys, this isn't even the worst of it. Just stay tuned.
Oh, okay. No.
It's the least racist country in the world.
No, America is not a racist country today.
Is it still racist? So
No.
when did it end?
There's certain.
You can't answer the question.
It ended when it ended.
I just did.
Okay,
No, you didn't. You said
I
less
will
racist.
answer.
I'm asking when
I'm
did it
answering
end?
you.
Thank you.
When it stopped being systemic, when there stopped being laws in place that stopped
That's
me
a
as
great
a black person doing what you're able to do as a white man.
No, I'm not asking that. Systemic racism is not simply that issue.
Yes, you just asked me to define when it stopped being, when this
What about
country
what?
stopped being racist. That's the answer.
When?
That I can't give you the exact date and time and hour. I'm telling you
Give
when.
me the decade.
What do you mean?
Mid-1970s.
Yeah,
Mid-1970s.
yeah.
So mass incarceration affecting black and brown communities disproportionately
Because they committed more crimes.
They
Yeah,
committed
well,
more,
yeah.
As to why? Why did they commit more crimes? Is it
Because
they
we
were
ripped
black,
apart the
or was it
family.
because of
It's
their
not-
economic situation?
It's
I'm not fucking talking to you, dude.
Whoa, chill. Even still, even if it is about their economic situation, that does not have anything to do with racism. If you commit more crimes, you're going to be incarcerated more. That argument made absolutely no sense. And once again, he's trying to say, when did it completely end? When did sexism end? When did murder end? When did all these things, these terrible things end? None of them end because there's bad people in the world. They're going to have bad ideas and bad ways of behaving. That does not mean that it's the majority. They're trying to be honest in this dialogue, saying that racism is a thing. And there are people that are racist, but most of the people are not. And that's why it's way less racist than it was back then. And he's, well, when did it end completely? It will never end completely. And that goes both ways. There's black people that are racist too. But he's not even actually trying to come to any solution. It's literally just regurgitating the points that he's been told year after year and not willing to actually listen to the evidence that is being brought forth that is actually valid, coming from a black person as well. It's crazy.
Dude.
Why are liberals so angry? I can't figure out why you're angry. Why are you angry?
I'm not a liberal,
right now?
so stop assuming my political
Okay, well,
affiliation.
you're just
Cap.
Came out of nowhere and just start cursing.
No, you invited me up here, I raised my hand,
I know,
and
but
you said,
I'm saying
"Please
you
come
just
up
turned
here."
around and
No,
you're
stop
cursing
trying
at
to change
someone.
the-
Why don't you calm down? It's just a conversation.
I'm perfectly calm. I can curse
You
while
don't have to
being
turn
calm.
around and curse anyone behind you.
I can.
You're
It's a
okay?
free country, right?
Okay. No, but I'm saying that it's not necessary to have this dialogue for you to
Necessary.
turn around and be angry. I do always remark, and I am going to suspect that you are liberal because right now you're trying to sell me
I'm
my own.
not liberal.
You're
I
selling me
just
my own
said it.
oppression, so that's a very liberal
I'm not
stance.
liberal.
Usually, when a white man stands up and tells me that yes, this is a racist country and is oppressed, they do tend to be liberal. Only liberals try to sell me my oppression.
I'm not.
But okay, I'm not going to assume your
Thanks.
political ideology. So here's
I do.
I mean, to answer your question for me, when the system stops being racist and there's nothing stopping us, and you brought up the prison rates, and you said something that was actually really important. You said it's because their communities have been economically depressed. So that would not be because of the color of your skin. That's economic privilege. If you ask me whether or not I believe in economic privilege, I would tell you yes. If you ask me whether or not I think that somebody born into a family of billionaires will be afforded more privileges in life than somebody that is born in the projects of Chicago, I would say yes, because economic privilege in this country does exist. But there is no law in place that is stopping a person because of the color of their skin from gaining that economic privilege, which is why I do not believe that white privilege, which is based upon the color of your skin, exists.
Is black poverty and white poverty different? Do
No,
they face different?
no,
That's
poor
Answer your question, and instead of saying, oh, okay, no, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next thing, because I have a question here. It's genuine. He just dismissed it. Oh, you proved me wrong. Okay, well, what about this? Pay attention to this? They always move the goalposts and never want to actually focus on their own original intent in the conversation. She answered it. Oh, okay, what about, okay, we're switching it up. It's ridiculous. They think they're sly, but they're not.
That's a lie. White people are more likely to be in rural poverty, which is different than urban poverty.
That's because black people don't
Who is bro talking to? That is a lie. Wait, bro, they're in front of you. Why are you looking over there?
live in rural parts of America.
What?
That's because black people don't live in rural parts of America.
Why? Historically, why? Why did black people flock?
Because of Lyndon
to
Baines
urban-
Johnson, urban planning, central planning, great society, where he said, we are going to verticalize the black community, destroy the black father, introduce drugs in the late 1960s, subsidize single motherhood, which used to be 22% in the 1960s, which is now 73%. Only a government program could make something like that happen.
Did it have anything to do with the lynchings in the South and the hostility towards black people in the South?
Well, first off, you say
Is there any reason why they left the South for
just
that
so
reason?
just so everybody
Is that-
knows, literally not half, but 1/3 of the people that were lynched in the South were white Republicans. So Republicans were being lynched in the South as well. So let's not pretend that
Okay, that's fine,
if your
but that's
argument,
not-
if you're
that's not
asking
addressing
me,
my
it
point.
seems
You're
like
just- that's a what about
it seems
argument.
like
You just addressed
you're
something else.
no, I just responded.
Does
You
it
said
have
it was a
anything
dialogue.
to do black people leaving the South and going to inner cities and other
He just
parts of
answered
the
that
country
question for you.
have anything to, no, I said, does it have anything to do with the KKK,
Very little to nothing.
lynchings,
Yes.
and violence in the South that black people faced?
So what it has to do with is the fact that black people continue.
Answer my question.
No,
Very little to
You're-
nothing.
Your original question was why white poverty in rural areas versus urban areas. That was your original question. They explained that black people don't live in rural areas. Talk about why are they not in rural areas. You're moving the goalpost, saying why they're changing the subject when you keep pivoting. White poverty and black poverty are the same. No, they're not the same because rural and urban. Oh, okay. Well, they don't live in rural areas. Well, why don't they? Let's just dig into that. Why? That's not the original question. They are the same. Poverty is poverty. But you just, oh man, that's crazy. And then you're switching it up. You're moving it. You're not answering my question. That's a what about? You're changing it. You're shifting. They have to recalibrate to your insanity. Like, what the heck?
Yes or no?
Very
You're
little.
not allowing me to.
Answer.
Okay, listen, you're not going to be like, you're not my boss.
You
So
guys
don't
do the
tell
same
me.
shit.
Don't
You
tell me
guys
how
talk
I
over
have to
people all the
answer
time.
your
I was just
question.
over there with
Okay,
you
nobody's
shutting people down.
nobody's intimidated from you telling me how I'm
I'm
going to
not
answer
trying
your
to
question.
intimidate you. I'm
You're
trying
not
to
going
have
to
an
cut. You're not
honest
going to cut me off.
conversation.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to have an honest
Why don't you
conversation,
stop?
which you
Why
guys
don't you
do
stop
not want to.
exercising your invisible white privilege and let the black girl talk for a second? Okay.
Oh my gosh, that is fun. And it be them too. You're a whole black person. My point of view, my perspective, why I don't think this country is racist towards me. There's no systemic racism or oppression. I can make it in this country just as much as you, man. I swear I can. Them. No, you can't. No, you can't. What about this? What about that? Yo, I could be making more bread than you, and you still wouldn't believe it. I could be living a better life than you. I mean, according to other people's standards, I could be making more money. I could be with a beautiful woman. I could be married with kids and all this stuff. And you'd still say that I'm oppressed and that all this stuff is against me and it's hard to make in this country. They don't want to hear the truth. And then she calls them out right here. Like, the only oppression that white people and the only white privilege is the fact that you think that you can speak over me when I'm trying to answer your question, interrupting, being disrespectful. Do you think I'm lesser than you? Is that why you keep interrupting me and being rude? Is that why? Because you think you're superior? Oh, and then she uses his own logic against him, his own thing about white privilege and all this stuff. And he's like, oh, let the black girl talk, bro. Let the black girl talk.
That's nice. No, this has nothing to do with
Okay,
that.
so to answer your question,
So white privilege
everything
exists.
that you're
Wait,
talking
wait, wait,
about-
wait, wait,
no,
wait.
I said invisible white
Does
privilege.
it exist
I
then?
said invisible white privilege. If you listen,
Of course it's
okay?
invisible.
So
White
first
privilege is
things
not a
first,
tangible
white
thing.
privilege does not exist. Economic privilege does exist, okay? If you're asking me, do I think the black community has been crippled economically, the answer would be yes. It has been crippled economically by Democrat policies. You just heard
Who
me say
cares
that
who
in
does
there.
it?
I
Democrats
care,
are
because that
Americans.
tells you-
Democrats are in America,
because
so
that
therefore
tells
you
you-
just
that
admitted
tells you-
that there has been disadvantages
it
by
is not
two
race.
black
It
people
is not-
by Democrats
it
who
is
are
not
American.
based off.
You keep going back from the old times to now. They're addressing all the years back that you keep trying to point to in terms of determining how. Now, does the past have an effect on the future? Of course, but also things change as we progress. And lots of things have changed to where the things that you're trying to act are relevant to today in terms of how black people are treated and what they're going through are not applicable because it's not the same. You keep going back and forth. And that's where this confusion is, because she's saying Democrat policies from back prior to now are what brought black people, a lot of them, to the economic situation they're in today. Now, a lot of people have been able to overcome that through actually believing and following the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, allowing the talking points from people on the left to keep them down, because it's a mental enslavement. That is what keeps a lot of black people down. They're not actually unable to go further in this life. And she's right. Economic privilege is the issue here. And it's not an issue. It's just the unfortunate reality for all people. Some people that are born in privilege are going to have, it's going to be easier for them to make it. And some people that are just relentlessly hardworking that aren't born in privilege are going to make it. It's just dependent on the individual. And I think there should be resources and programs in place, not necessarily government funded, to help these communities that are less fortunate. But the answer is that there's economic privilege, not white privilege. Nowadays, there is more black privilege than white privilege, to be honest with you. But
Just admitted it.
It is not based off. You asked me if white privilege exists. The answer is white privilege. Because you're born white, that means you're going to not have this or that. It does not exist. No, it does not
You
exist.
just admitted that the Democrats, the boogeyman Democrats,
They're not boogeymen. They
disadvantaged
exist.
the black
Boogeyman
people.
doesn't exist.
No,
60 years
Democrats
ago.
do exist.
they did it.
So
60
boogeyman means doesn't
They did
exist.
it.
Just so you know, there
We're
are
talking about
Democrats.
So
today.
you admit that it exists.
60.
I don't think you're comprehending.
I'm totally
You're not.
comprehending.
So,
You're not
let-
comprehending.
I'm not sure that you are. You said
60 years ago, white people had it better than black people. Over time, there's no more systemic laws that are in place. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What can a white person
Do
do
we
that a black person
disproportionately-
cannot do today in today's America? Name one thing.
well, black people
Answer the question. Isn't that how this works?
Question. Black people who smoke marijuana, black and white people smoke marijuana at the same rates. Yet a black person is 3 to 4 times more likely
I can
to be
answer
put
that.
in jail for that.
Okay.
that's not even answering the question. What can a white person do that a black person cannot do? Not do they both smoke marijuana, and which one is more disproportionate? It's illegal. It's illegal. And I don't know the statistics on that. But like, if it's illegal, it's illegal. If they I don't know if they're just getting caught more, whatever that has to do. Answer the question. What can I pursue? What can you pursue? What can you go after? What can you be successful at that I can't? That is a question. You don't want to answer that. Always going back to things that just aren't relevant to the question.
And I know the reason why, because you have the police in the urban
No,
communities. It's easier to police those communities. Sure.
because
But that-
actually, I had a girlfriend. I had a family member who got a DUI, and I had a girlfriend who got a DUI.
Just to let you know, by just saying what you're saying and standing up here and knowing what's going on through the police brutality, through injustice.
I
all
love
this stuff.
This is so.
You're
I
a
guys,
joke.
I
You're
love
a
that
joke.
behind me. There's like black people rolling their eyes, but the two white guys are yelling at me, telling me that I don't agree with them. This is what I love about.
Oh my gosh, it's literally me. I'm like rolling my eyes at these two people trying to tell us how oppressed we are. No, we're not. Sorry, it's just not. And it's always the white liberals. I'm not liberal. Yes, you are. You can say you're not in name, but in action, in belief, in your talking points, you are. Simple.
White liberals, right? Like they know
I'm not a
it's so
liberal.
important
You're a
for
Marxist.
them to sell us our oppression, that they'll come up and tell us we're a disgrace. Just
Do you speak for all black
just
people?
say it, just say it.
Can you speak for
well,
all
why
black
don't you
people?
stop speaking for black people? That would be
not.
great, okay?
Are. Why are you speaking for black people? Can they not speak up for themselves? Oh, of course. According to you, no. We're still in chains. We're still enslaved. The king times. Honestly, take it back further. We are actually enslaved. We're in chains. Where's Harriet Tubman? Get us, free us, woman. Like, y'all are doing too much. Too much. I can't stand it, guys. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. It was wild. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.